Hi, welcome back to Buddhism 101. Today we continue on with our study of morality and the aspect of morality known as reflection on the use of requisites. So no matter how simple a life we live, as human beings there are certain things that we require in order to continue our lives, in order to meet with success, even on the level of the practice of meditation. So in the context of the Buddha's teaching, there are these certain set of things that we have to use, and so try to use them wisely and reflecting before partaking in their use. The four main requisites in Buddhism are food, robes, or food, clothing, shelter, and medicines. And these are considered to be four things that in general human beings need to survive, and so even people undertaking intensive meditation practice still have to partake of. The point is here that with these things or with other things, other objects, possessions that we use in our lives, there's a potential for going outside of the boundaries of what is conducive to meditation practice and becoming distracted or intoxicated by the use of material possessions. So, of course, using our possessions for pleasure, for indulgence, for distraction and diversion, for things that will take us away from the meditation practice and away from our goal. So in general, this fits in with the practice of morality in the sense of restricting our activities and preventing us from becoming distracted and intoxicated by the world around us. So building on these four, as examples, we use food simply to stay alive, as I've talked about before. We won't use food for the purpose of entertainment or for the purpose of intoxication from the strength that comes from it, or from fattening our bodies, or from building up bulk, or for beautifying the body, for creating a good complexion or so on. So we won't be concerned with these things. We'll use food simply to continue our lives, simply to allow us to continue on our spiritual path. And so we'll try to use just the amount of food necessary for that and not go beyond that, not fall prey to our desires and our attachments, our addictions to food. Clothing, we'll only use clothing to cover the body, both to ward off heat and cold and insects and pests of all sorts, and also to cover the body, to keep us from being naked and from the distraction that causes and the problems that it causes from exposing ourselves. We won't use it for beautification. We won't use clothing for sensual pleasure, for indulging in the soft and comfortable touch. So we'll try to use just the sort of clothes that are necessary to keep us alive. As monks, we try to perfect this by just wearing a simple cloth. It's a rectangular cloth, and we have 3 rectangular cloths that we wear. That's considered to be just enough to keep us reasonably comfortable without becoming luxurious or without engaging in some kind of beautification through clothing or style or enjoyment of color and beauty and so on. And the shelter, we only use it for the purpose of protecting ourselves from the elements, from heat and cold and from insects and pests and so on, but also for privacy. So we'll use it for the purpose, not privacy, but solitude. We'll use it for the purpose of segregating ourselves from all of the things that would normally distract us. So when you have your own room, a place to stay, or off in the forest, if you have a place that is secluded, it can be a great support for your meditation, especially in the early stages when your mind is still easily distracted by the objects of the sense and people and activities going on in the world around. Now, what it's not used for is for indulgence in things that you'd only want to do in private. So any kind of entertainment or indulgence in sleeping and relaxation. So our houses, our rooms, our accommodation should be simple and actually quite bare. We should try our best to not use comfortable bedding or high and luxurious bedding, or to use our. So we should be careful, because in solitude there also comes a tendency towards engaging in activities that you wouldn't want other people to know about. So try to use it simply for what it's meant to be used for, and try to be careful not to fall prey to the comfort and the luxury of a luxurious dwelling. And medicines as well, the fourth requisite, we'll only use for overcoming sickness, and only to the extent necessary to overcome sickness and to allow us a mind that is unclouded and free from the effects of sickness and disease, and a body that is able to perform the meditation practice and able to function on a daily basis. So we wouldn't use medicines to cover up unpleasant experiences, for example, using painkillers or drugs that are simply for the purpose of creating states of comfort and avoiding unpleasant experiences, or using medicines like supplements that are meant simply to strengthen us and to give us a false sense of health and comfort, in order to avoid the inevitability of sickness and pain and so on. So again, trying to use all of these things just for what is necessary. And using these as examples, you can really apply this to anything. So if you have a car, you should be using the car only for what is necessary. If you have a house, the house should only be for what is necessary. If you have a computer, the computer should only be used as necessary. This wise reflection at the use of our requisites, we should take a look around ourselves and try to eliminate those things, those possessions, those material possessions that are distracting us, that are taking us away from the path, away from the practice. Because it's just another outlet that takes us outside of what would be considered moral. But again, moral in the sense of supportive for the meditation practice, leading towards concentration and focus. So anything that takes us outside of that we consider to be immoral. It's just a subjective definition, but in a Buddhist context, this is what we mean by siila, or morality. So there we go, another aspect of morality, and just one more concept that we need to know as Buddhists, as Buddhist meditators, as followers of the Buddhist teaching. So thank you for tuning in. Have a good day.